Good morning, gamers. As I'm sure many of you are aware, it is now the start of the workday here on July 1st, which means let me be the first to welcome everyone to Pride Month 2. Let's get it! We're not going anywhere. And as your official, unofficial emissary for Pride Month 2, I'd like to talk to you all about mushrooms for about 40 minutes. This is Lone Fungus, a solo dev indie Metroidvania by Basti Art Games. I am joined by the lovely Allison 8-Bit.
Thank you for having me.
And before we get started, I would like to know, what cap are we taking as Green Cap into Capistool Halls today?
This is such an important question. I'm very happy I get to be the one to answer it. With a pretty solid lead, it is the music cap.
Let's go. Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone who donated to give Green Cap a rockin' pair of headphones for this. And I believe we are also on normal difficulty. Am I correct in that?
You are very correct. I absolutely misspoke. We blasted past that donation total. We are upgrading to that normal difficulty, so let's see it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone who donated to Doctors Without Borders. On that behalf, we'll talk a little bit more about that once we get into the run. But let's count it down, starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, so time to play the game, or?
I'm a little bit nervous. Maybe we do this again some other time.
Sure, we can just quit out.
Yeah. All right, thank you. No, we save quit right at the start of the game because your first shrine is actually about 30 seconds in front of Green Cap. It's just a nice, neat little way to skip some walking at the intro. And while we pick up our first items, I'll talk a little bit about what this category is. This is True Ending on normal difficulty. What True Ending means is we have to collect all 10 spells in the overworld, each of which is guarded by a fearsome boss. There are many abilities we will pick up that look like spells but aren't, but there are, in fact, 10 spells that I need to pick up before ascending to the surface of the world and repopulating the Earth with fungal biodiversity. It's going to be a great time. We're playing on normal difficulty, which means that instead of the 7 HP on Explorer, Green Cap has just 5 health, and also the way deaths work slightly change. So on Explorer difficulty, deaths are very forgiving. When you die, you respawn at the start of the room. On normal, that is still partially the case. However, we have a live system now. So the first 2 times I die, I will reset to the start of my room, and if I take a full 3-death loop, I will get kicked back to my last shrine. So for this run, I will be donating $5 for every time I die, and if I ever take a death loop, I will be donating $50. We do not want to see that today. With that, we've already picked up Green Cap's sword. I'm just getting the other sort of basic piece of his kit, which is the parry. Parrying is huge in this game because in addition to being able to parry enemy projectiles for more damage than Green Cap's sword does, you can also abuse the iframes of it to just walk right through enemies, which we're going to be doing a lot in some of the enemy choked halls later on. For instance, this first boss coming up in just a second is largely a tutorial for one of the interesting mechanics of this game, namely that Green Cap cannot upslash. He cap too big for he gosh darn sword. And so this first boss is going to tutorialize what to do when there is a giant flying enemy and you cannot actually swing up.
All right, so this is a warrior statue. This is the first boss. And for the most part, we're just going to be trying to just do lots of pogos. Pogos are very powerful in this game. There's actually a tutorial for it. Shoutouts to that. And there's spikes in the ceiling, but we have a nice little spot to hang out. And we're going to be trying to end the fight in the middle to pick up Mushroom Mover Infusion.
Yeah, so that will turn on all the mush movers in the overworld, which are these little green glowing things that Green Cap can pogo and bounce around on. We'll be returning to that very soon. There I also did one of the only major glitches in this game, which is called the Silver Shrine exploit. You're not supposed to be able to teleport from the little shrines without a late game item. However, by opening the equip screen and forcing the game to put you on the map screen while you're in your inventory at a shrine, the game concludes that you're there because you wanted to teleport and lets you teleport anyway, which is great because it cuts out a lot of the walking around this first area, which is actually hugely useful. We're just going to make our way to the next boss, but this would be a good first spot for any donations or messages from our lovely host.
Don't call me. Stop that. All right, here's $25 from Glitchy that says, don't let the jokesters on stage fool you with their japes and bits and shrooms. These are true pillars of the community that I am so proud to call my friends and watch killing this fung run. Fung run? Yes. Pride 2 only going up from here.
Let's go.
Time for another.
Real quick, I just want to talk. There's a quick kill on this Magus statue. We're going to try and get it in one cycle. That's the first part. And that's the second. Let's go.
Perfect execution on that.
All right, yeah, hit me with it, Zen.
Alrighty, this is, let me scroll back down, sorry. This is a $50 donation from Upper Casserole. Be prepared, we're all gonna need it. Let me tell you a story of an incredible speedrunner, one of the Chanterelites, the more elder of Pesto, the captain of the NO keyboard, the champig nobility of indie game speedrunning. Games Done Quacksilver is an icon of portable elegance and grace. May you crushroom all of the bosses with fun gusto. There isn't much room for error, so take it to Shanter 11. That's it. Thank you. How dare you? Thank you.
How dare you, Upper? That was beautiful. Yes, hit me with all of your worst mushroom puns. Anyone who can beat that has my undying respect.
So we have this new little ability where we're conjuring this mush mover behind us, which gives us a nice little movement. It's a spell, right?
So this one is a half spell. It's not one of the 10 spells we need, but it's kind of a spell. It's also one of the most broken movement abilities in the game because you can spawn a pogoable object. So this was technically a sequence break, but everyone found it in their casual because they looked at a gap that was just barely bigger than green cap and said, yeah, I can definitely climb that. Unfortunately, our reward is a little bit of an RNG check with the Queen Evil Eye, GDQ eyes in the chat.
Yeah, this boss is actually a really fun boss, but just a lot of RNG, so it makes it quite tricky in the run. Spawns ads, has multiple different phases, lots of projectiles. We would not want to pogo them, but unfortunately we can't because of the spikes in the ceiling and just how much they move around. There's a few spots where we can sometimes get some, but for the most part it's just adapting to each of the various attacks that are happening and getting our parries in. And I think here's where the first ads spawn. Oh.
There we go. Nice, we got the double ad phase a little early, so I'm just gonna go up and try and race here. Nope, she's flying down. All right, that was a fair QE. And with that, we're going to get our forwards dash ability.
What's forwards dash?
Not much. What's forwards dash with you, Allie? Thank you for that. Thank you for the pity laugh, everyone. I appreciate it. With that, we're going to make our way to our first real spell through the mechanical fort here. Is my favorite environmental music in the game. Shout outs to Basti, who did all of this, including the music, all by himself. We love solo dev indie games. And this next fight is a bit of a choreographed one. Ideally, they're going to be bouncy balls that drop from the ceiling, and the boss has way more health than you can comfortably damage without using them. So I'm going to try and hit a specific pattern of balls here. All right, don't hit me here. It counts, let's go.
It's quite a tricky fight. It doesn't seem like it's too bad.
Yeah, there's an incredibly cursed 0.5 cycle where you get in the boss's face right at the start and like actually do damage with your sword, which is 1/7 the damage of the bouncy balls. But it's a little bit marathon unsafe, and I'm trying not to die here. With this, we now have our first actual spell. It is the Bouncy Ball. Much like the balls in the fight, it lets Greencap summon his own. That is a projectile you can swing your sword at, whose damage scales with its velocity when it impacts an enemy. We're going to actually use that for a bit of cheese right away. Our next boss is the Screw King. It's a boss with very little health, but a lot of invulnerable phases, but the game does not actually expect you to have a 70 damage nuke in this fight. So we're going to put the Bouncy Ball on and aim for its weak point for massive damage here. All right, that's good part 1. 49 is a little bit unfortunate because it's got 100 health, but I'm hoping the next one can do a little more. Nice.
Awesome. And so here there's actually a save and quit. Whenever Quack ends a fight on the opposite side of the door, a save and quit will get us close to the door. It's slightly faster RTA and substantially faster in game time because we do not have the menus timed in game time.
Yeah, so in an optimal case, you would save quit out of every boss fight because every boss fight in this game is a hard save. But for RTA, we're just going to do it when we're at the far side of the arena in order to teleport back a little bit faster. So now with this, we are on our way to the other most broken movement ability in the game. And here we're taking advantage of mush boosting again, plus some dashes. Plus, there is a feature in this game where when Greencap pogos a bouncy ball, he actually gets his dashes back, including the up dash that we just got from Screw King. Remember that you can pogo bouncy ball. It'll come up later. Here, I picked up water breathing, which is the ability that lets you, sure enough, breathe underwater. We need it for exactly one pool of water in the game. There's only one that is too deep for Greencap to ordinarily swim through. Also, I would like to shout out that log, which is breakable if you pogo it 18 times for some reason. We all missed this when we were originally routing this game, and Basti came into our speedrunning Discord and was like, you know that you can just break that log, right?
So here we're just making our way over to
Ground Bounce. So Ground Bounce is an incredibly powerful ability because for the first, you go incredibly fast using it out of a dash, but also it is a little known fact that for the duration of Pride Month 2, walls are legally considered ground. And so we're going to be using our ground bounce ability to scale sheer vertical cliffs starting almost immediately. We just have to get through some fun ice physics first.
Yeah, the enemy design here is quite interesting. We got some penguins, we got some goblins, we got some walking spikes. An interesting combination.
And now we go fast. Haphazardly fast, one might say. With this, I'm also going to pick up our first of 2 sword upgrades. They're just lying out in the overworld. They're all little mini exploration things. I just happen to know where they are. This is a flat damage boost to all forms of our sword slashes. More on that a little later. And there are 2 convenient ones in this route. With that, we are on our way to our second spellbearing boss, but we got time for a couple donations.
Alrighty, here's $10 from Tika that says, fun mushroom fact. We often talk about mushrooms absorbing nutrients from the ground, but they're actually actively seeking out certain nutrients, even drilling through small rocks to get them. Fun mushroom fact. We got time for more?
Yeah, one more.
Alrighty, $5 from Kuroji Zalax that says, had to drop another 5, so I made sure to tell you that you said my name right. Let's go! I only have one mushroom pun and it's a joke, but what kind of vehicle does a mushroom drive? A spores car.
All right, this boss here is the big germ. It's a very simple boss. We just have a handful of things going on in it.
Yep, but we get our most important spell, the Bouncy Spore. That's going to be our damage for pretty much the entirety of the rest of the run, with like 1 or 2 exceptions. Mostly in combination with another ability we're going to get a little bit later. But coming up is our first, I like to think of them as Mega Man rooms. We've got these long, winding rooms that are very choked with enemies. I'm not good at Mega Man, I'm sorry. But at the end of this one is an upgrade for our parry. We don't come this way because there's an upgrade for our parry here. It just happens to be faster, and there's one literally at our feet, which is super nice. So there you can see an example of ground bounce scaling walls.
You'll see a lot more of that all over this run.
Yeah. And here's something very important that you may have missed at the start of the run is I did a little bit of menu fiddling while we were doing the bit about me saving and quitting. That is because on normal, by default, your map does not update until you sit at a shrine, but you can still set it to update instantly, and we need it to update instantly for this route. Because we're going to be walking into certain rooms to just put their teleport points on the map so we can teleport to them later. There down in the lower part of Deep Grotto was one of the first times I did that. We'll be doing it again in just a second in the fan favorite area, the Acid Dungeon.
Lots of Mountain Dew.
Lots of, yeah, forbidden soda. And I'm going to remember to equip all of my stuff.
Yeah, this area is got lots of spikes, lots of enemies, lots of acid everywhere. We're just trying to survive.
Yep, we are making our way. So here, I just put that gold shrine on my map. We're gonna save quit out. 1345 at that quit out is actually maybe PBable. Dangerous, highly dangerous. With that, we are going to make our way towards, in my opinion, the best boss in the game. We're going to be getting our Spin Slash. So Spin, also not a spell, it is just going spinny for Pride Month too. However, it is one of the most important abilities in the game. It is a movement and combat upgrade. On our way here, we're gonna grab our second damage upgrade. And then, coming up in a second is a silenced room. There are several rooms in the game where Green Cap is not allowed to cast spells. They're usually there to incentivize some of the other ability gates. However, we're going to ignore literally all of the intended abilities they ask of us. This is supposed to require crouch jump, but ground bounce does our taxes, waters our crops, and lets us fly. So with that, we are on to the Rogue Armadillo fan favorite boss. This is a bit of a dance, so Allie, I'll let you take this.
So this is the boss that the last one we're using the bouncy ball on. It's actually a really fun fight, like lots of dynamic gameplay back and forth. It's not too difficult, but it's fun. So here we're trying to get max damage, which is 70 on the bouncy ball. Lots of in the 60s. It's hard to get the full 70 out of it. And
he ate all of my parries. Incredibly rude. All right. And with that, Green Cap can now go spinny. With this, we're going to be climbing for about 2 minutes to grab a couple more shrines. We're going to do a lot of boss cleanup at the very end of the run once we have our most impressive damage source. So you got about 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes for donations and messages then.
Alrighty, here's $10 from Shadowed Navi that says, not only am I watching at work, my boss knows when it's GDQ week and understands we'll all be listening to donations during the workday. That is incredible. Thank you so much to you for your donation and for your boss for supporting an amazing cause like GDQ as we raise money for MSF. Thank you again. Now we've got some amazing $25 donation here from Ratleg that's a haiku that says, summer games done quack. Ground is walls and that is law. Happy Pride Month too. Fantastic. Thank you for that. $250 donation here from Henri. It says, good evening from Australia. Been an amazing year since watching my first live GDQ with my partner at SGDQ 2023. And as tradition, we have y'all on the TV so we don't miss anything. You all do so much good work for Doctors Without Borders, and it's wonderful to see all the runners' effort in practicing for the event pay off. Good luck with the runs and trans rights!
So true.
Still got some more time?
Yeah, let's do one more.
Alrighty, $30 from Kevin of Computer that says, so excited to see Quack running this great game at GDQ. Good luck! What does Green Cap say at the end of his YouTube videos? Don't forget to click the Portobello!
I love my community so much. With that, we are going to get into one of the most finicky skips in the game, top two. We're going to skip into the latest game area early because our most important damage upgrade is waiting there. So the astute among you in the crowd will remember that I said that you can pogo bouncy ball to get your dashes back. Well, there's actually no limit to the number of times that we can do that. Okay, cool. There you have to animation cancel each bouncy ball by swapping to Mush Mover and then back again so that you have enough time to like get the next bouncy ball out. Feeling good about that. Unfortunately, now it's time for the hardest boss in the run. Allie, you want to talk about Hive?
Oh yeah, this is the Great Electro Hive. This is a fun boss. Everyone loves the Hive. So this is a projectile plus ads plus lasers. There's just everything going on. We're actually going to be trying to get all of the ads to spawn up top, come down, do some hits, and then when they come to the bottom, we're going to try and go back up. Just nice little way to keep them a little bit less chaotic. It's not too bad of a fight once you get the ads going the right way, but it can get out of hand very quickly. And we're just using the Great Spore Spin.
Nice. Was that damageless?
Looks like it.
Marathon luck, you love to see it. With that, we have now gotten our Spin Slash upgraded into Great Spin Slash, which can break things like trees. So now, you may have noticed as we were doing that climb that my cap is now constantly changing. That's because there are so many buttons in this game, and I play on Pro Controller because reasons, that I have double bound, swap spells, and bounce to the same button. We never use them both at the same time in the run, so it's fine. That's another very good Silenced Room skip. You're supposed to get a magnet ability, but I don't know how magnets work, so we just use ground bounce instead.
And so now we're heading on the way to one of the first elemental lords. This is a little guy just watching us.
Don't worry about him, he's fine.
So this is the first. There are 3 elemental lords that all have fantastic names. This one, the community calls Larry.
Yes, they did not originally have canon names, and then the early access speedrunners started giving the elemental lords rhyming names of Larry, Jerry, and Gary.
Yep.
And the dev was like, yeah, that's canon now. Nice. There you also saw the Great Spin Spore, which is our final and most important damage upgrade. It turns Green Cap into a whirling dervish of mushroom damage over time. It deals over 200 damage if all of the hits connect. Electric Elemental Lord was the tankiest boss in the game. I'm going to take one heal because we're doing ice physics right now. Everyone's favorite in a platformer forever. We also have icicles and penguins that also slide on the ice. So we're going to be playing carefully and also trying to parry as much as possible. If we take one safety death here, this is the location to do it.
Have we explained how deaths work yet?
Yeah, so the first ones are free. If we death loop, recall, it is $50 to Doctors Without Borders, but I don't think we'll death loop. The run's been good so far. I'm going for this.
And so yeah, this of course is just lots of parrying, lots of enemies everywhere. Spikes from the ceiling, ice physics. It's rough.
Never punished. Let's go. Oh, nope, punished. That hard fall. The penguin didn't hit me. I've never seen the penguin not hit me when I hard fell there. We've been blessed. Happy Pride Month, too.
All right, so here's Jerry. This is the second of the Ice Elemental Lords that we are going to be fighting. This is a pure damage race. We could theoretically get it in 3 cycles. That requires pretty much perfect RNG. It's most likely going to be a 4 cycle. Totally fine.
All of his projectiles
The biggest
have
thing
been...
is just getting them into the center of the screen and just doing our great spore spin in the middle of them.
Yeah, we don't want to try and chance anything with the ice physics, because if you sit inside like the snowflake, you can get hit sometimes 3 times. So we just wait for him to come to us, and Great Spin Spore. Going to use the Silver Shrine glitch again to go back to our shrine in Frozen Depths. We got one more boss in this low area, and now we're sort of in the second phase of the game where we have most of the map unlocked that we need. There's one more area set that we really haven't explored at all, but most of the run here is going to be find boss, absolutely explode boss, go to next area and repeat. And try not to get hit by too many icicles while you do. So this next boss, Big Mind Demon, is just a quick few spin spores. So Xenadir, you have any messages for us?
I absolutely do. Here's $25 from Lost Lemon that says, not donating during Lone Fungus would be criminal. Good luck on the run. Here's $25 from Sev that says, zooming. And we also had a $5 donation here from Jackman Marcus that said, super fun to see Lone Fungus along with some of the routing and strats I helped work on at GDQ. Can't say that was on my bingo card.
Thank you so much, everyone. All right, never any doubt. So here I'm actually switching. This is going to be, our next boss is the one boss that we're not actually going to use Great Spin Spore for. But first we have to do the most extended silence room skip in the game. So there's an ability in the game called Acid Sandals that lets you jump off the surface of the Forbidden Gatorade with good timing. However, and sing along if you know this one, Ground Bounce is going to clear my pores, solve all my problems, everything and then some. So with 3 HP, I think I'm going to take a heal here real quick. But then there's a very long hallway on the other side of this room that we're going to try and skip as much of as possible. Nice. And then does anyone fancy a swim? Not quite. All right, that's 5. That's 5. We'll run that back.
Yeah, this is quite a tricky one. This is like one of like the biggest skips because you're supposed to have that sandals.
There it is.
Let's go. And we're on to Sheldon. Sheldon is the next to the boss, the only one with a proper name before the Elemental Lords got their name. And this is where we're using the Vibrant Crystal. This has a really cool downward attack, and it's going to just hit a bunch on the damage. We should be able to get it done in one more. Perfect.
Nice.
And we just got the Acid Hammer spell. What are we going to do with
that? We're going to do literally nothing with the Acid Hammer spell. Moving right along, this is the area that is supposed to teach you about the Wall Bounce ability, but Ground Bounce is legally Wall Bounce. And then an important piece of the routing, I'm so glad we got that Marcus donation just a second ago. This was their routing ingenuity was I am now going through undergrounds, the last of the areas we're gonna see, kind of backwards, because they're those boulders that you saw me break at the exit to undergrounds. They're supposed to be broken with the Berserk spell, which is the spell we're going to get in just a second. However, the game doesn't actually look for the Berserk spell in order to break them, it just looks for a certain damage threshold. So with Great Spin, we can simply break it and enter through the exit.
Yeah, this is one of the areas too where
that persisted.
A lot of damage can happen here. We're going to be taking a safety. But it's a pretty movement-heavy area, just like lots of
nice
various things going on that we need to try to avoid.
We love when enemies drop heals for you.
That's true. This game has a really interesting system for random enemy drops. They're not super common, but they can do all sorts of things for us. Give us extra health back, give us extra mana, give us max mana?
Yeah, extend our max mana. And there's an ability that you can get in the game that is, again, legally not a spell, but that opens up a ton more power-ups. Like you can get invincible, extra damage. It's just a whole bunch of stuff. This game is incredibly maximalist in its design aesthetic, and I love it. I'm gonna heal here before the ghost catches up to me. Yeah. All right, and now we hit the most important elemental lord, the Edge Lord.
So this is the Lord of Darkness. This is mostly just a big health pool to take out. It's not going to be too much to get through. It should just be 4 of those. We are getting some phase 2 attacks.
Love getting interrupted out of the Great Spin. You're gonna come over to me. Nice.
Perfect. And that is the Berserk spell, which was supposed to use to break the things we did before. But since it just checks how much damage we do, we don't need that anymore.
Yep, and with this we are officially in boss cleanup mode, so now it is literally just go to area with early game boss, blow it up in 2 to 3 spin spores, and then move on. So Zen, you got about 2 minutes for let all of the donations and messages rip.
All right, floodgates have been opened. $50 here from Eban that says, love seeing Lone Fungus. Good luck to the runner and to the dev working on the next game. Also got $100 here from Brett Broker. It said, donating during Lone Fungus because I got super into amateur mycology during the pandemic and have been finding tons of chanterelles this summer. I just love this cute little game. Even when the world seems at its darkest, events like this are a good reminder that there is still so much beauty and love in the world. Thanks to MSF, the runner and couch, and all of the event staff and volunteers. Keep doing great work. And thank you so much for that donation and amazing message. I think we all need to hear that a little more in our lives. $50 from Mecha Link that says, Lone Fungus is a very cool game with lots of platforming puzzles that give you infinite tries on normal and specific rooms. Good times. $25 here from Ash that says, Quacksilver, you make this game look fun, guy. Good luck. $25 here from Cesarus that says, loving the run so far and the fun gals on the stage. My ceiling gum for puns is pretty high, but there wasn't mushroom left over that last donation, so I had to Mayataki this one out before sending it. Best of luck on the rest of the run and happy Pride Month too! Woo! $25 from Alien Crustacean that says, an excellent run to start this morning off. Love this funky little mushroom. If I got a few moments more here, I actually want to take a moment to shout out everyone putting their donations towards that Easter egg showcase for Sonic Project 06. Not only am I watching the general total of this lovely marathon shoot up very quickly, at one point I mentioned I'd love to see it reach 6,000 of 12,000 before the end of my shift, and apparently I threw down a gauntlet unintentionally because we've already passed 6,000 raised now. It started at like 2,600 when I sat down. We're at $6,068 raised out of the 20,000 or the 12,000 needed, so we're going to make that in no time. But please do not forget when you're putting your donations in to make sure you select an incentive or a bid war. You're automatically entered for some of the amazing prizes we have. Like right now, there's the Turnip Boy Mini Perler keychain, or for $25 donation or more, your double electric Kirby painting. It's beautiful. I've seen it on set. I love it. But remember, again, you have to select a specific incentive or bid war. That is not automatic. Love to see you put it towards the Sonic Project 06 Easter egg showcase. Once that's met, we're going to open even more things. You're going to get even more GDQ. It's going to be amazing. Have I filled the time yet?
Absolutely. So we are on the final climb. This is the best use case for ground bounce climbing walls. What we did is we got all 10 spells, so that's off our checklist. You're supposed to talk to an NPC called the Hyperbolic Host, who is supposed to open up a path to the surface that's much more convenient. But instead, we're just going to fly because that animation cancel that I did earlier on the bouncy ball, you can also do it on the Mush Mover. And that makes it so that you can gain infinite height. It's quite slow, so we use bouncing for most of this.
And yeah, you can do this with very low equipment, which is actually done in any percent runs, which means you do this whole segment about 2 minutes with just getting infinite height. And it's very tricky, very tedious.
All right, there's the selfish ending climb. And with that, we're on the final boss. We're gonna park for a second. Surprise, it's the Watcher from earlier.
Yeah, this is a 2-phase boss, and the first phase really isn't too bad. We're gonna get a root attack any second now, I'm sure. It always happens.
Yeah, let's see how many spinny lasers we get today. There's one attack in phase 1 that we're explicitly not hoping for, which he's very kindly not giving, actually. Let's see if we can get it. This is the first boss in a minute to have health actually scaled for great spin attacks. Wow, a spinny laserless phase 1. You love to see it. So time is going to be coming up as we get the last hit on phase 2 here. As soon as time is called, there's going to be a brief flashing lights warning because we're going to explode into rainbows to celebrate Pride Month too. But this boss is going to use all of the spells that we have technically learned and then by and large abandoned over the course of this run.
Yeah, and this boss really isn't too bad. It's really cool when you were doing like the mirror match at the end after you've done everything else. And if only we would have used all of the spells ourselves.
Yeah, I love a good mirror match boss fight. Although, to celebrate the fact that we're speedrunners, Dark Cap is giving us exactly no spell attacks, except for Spore time. God, what was the RTA on that? Because I'm afraid that this might be a PB. That was a suspiciously clean run. While Green Cap explodes into rainbows here, I will just say thank you so much, Ali, for helping me out with commentary for this, as well as thank you so much to everyone who donated and to everyone who runs indie games of any kind, no matter what game or who you are. I see you and I love you. This has been so much fun. Yeah, I think that's me. What do you got?
Thanks for having me. Play indie games. That's always what you gotta do.
Your time was 33:47, by the way.
Oh, that's so PVable. If we have a second to get through the credits for about 30 seconds, I'd love to see if this was a marathon PB. And also, our final nod to Pride Month 2, we have successfully repopulated the Earth with a rainbow of mushrooms. Let's go, gamers. Yeah, so as was mentioned on the donation, the sequel for this game, the prequel for this game is in development right now, Lone Fungus 2. I'm very excited. It puts a lot more Vania in the Metroidvania. So if you like 8-directional whip combat, this is going to be the game for you. Yeah, I think that's what I got. I just want to see... I don't know, how we doing, Minneapolis? You all are the best. Thank you so much to everyone who has been donating throughout this entire marathon. It's just day 2, and it's already been nothing short of incredible. And let's see, we're looking for 30? No, just barely. Okay, fair enough. Thank you so much, GDQ, for having me.